and a happy new year to the Just a Couple of Bagels podcast. We're back in the new year with myself and Mr. Sam Brown. How are you, Sam?
Hello, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well. How is the new year treating you? Hopefully 2021 is better than 2020.
A pretty rough start, hasn't it? A pretty diabolical start to 2021. You thought 2020 was bad.
No, it's not brilliant whatsoever.
Have
you managed to do anything?
In terms of like coaching, no, I didn't get to coach at all before lockdown. And apart from that, just lockdown stuff. I run, so I've been running.
No, it's just been quite a miserable start to the year, really. I mean, I haven't really particularly done anything. I think 2021, I've done, I think, one hour of coaching, maybe.
Impressive. It's really good. It's good work. It's good effort. You're being me, so there you go.
Very true, very true. So we'll come on to what we're here for, the main topic of this week's podcast, and it is the importance of sport in life.
Yes,
because
very
sport
important.
is a very important thing for both you and I. I mean, the one thing I thought from this, especially from all the lockdowns, is, has this been the longest period where you haven't been able to play sport in general?
In terms of like not running, so take running out of the situation and put it into more terms of like a team sport, or a place you need to go, like a facility that you need to go to play a sport. And yeah, it's like tennis. We had that first lockdown, which was like for 3 months. The longest, even when I went away on holidays and stuff, I've managed to play tennis. So it's been quite a weekly thing for me.
What is the longest?
For that to go.
What is the longest period of time that you haven't played tennis or played sport in general? Can you remember?
I've always done sport. Like when I went to America, when I went traveling, not when I was working, it's when I traveled out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do as much sport. I still ran a couple of times, and we played tennis a lot. Like when we went to a cousin's house, we played tennis. So even then, I was still doing some sort. I mean, it's fair amount of walking that we did. We wrapped up on lots of miles walking around there. So even then, I was doing some sort of fitness. So in terms of like not actually doing sport, there's not been a time that it's not been part of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think the longest period of time I haven't done any sport was when I injured my ankle in.
Oh, that was bad.
And I think I didn't do any sport for a good 2 months. I was walking around, but I didn't do any sport, and
yeah, bad injury.
It affects you, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
You feel better when you do sport.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Mentally, it was just strange, really, because you thought, I want to go out and do that, but then you think, I can't do that, and you just sort of get a little bit fed up with yourself that you can't really do anything.
It's also like the build-up to get to sport as well. Like, I know they're gonna a reasonably big run tomorrow, and I already sat here thinking about it. Build up what I'm going to do, how I'm going to pace myself. It's that build up. What I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink before it. It's all like fueling myself. Mentally prepare myself. If you don't have that, what do? You don't have that thing to. It's a mindset thing.
But I mean, you've got a schedule, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
A schedule to follow, and so you know what you're doing. It's not as if you're sort of making it up as you go along.
Exactly. So yeah, it is tough not to talk about sport. Again, where I'm lucky in terms of a run. I know you started running a little bit.
Yes.
Started to pound the pavement a little bit.
Well, I've sort of given myself a little sort of weekly schedule to do for the lockdown. So I'll do it in like 4 days, and I'll Friday, Saturday, and Sunday not really doing much. But I'll have like a run. I'll do a run on Monday. I'll have a lower and upper body strength workout for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday, which is today when we're recording, is I do like a stretch, like rehab sort of day. So that's what I've done today.
I do love a stretch session. I love a stretch.
Hate stretching. Hate stretching.
Really, honestly, like, no, I hate it because it's boring. But like, in terms of like I've got a free trial for this app, Fit LiQWYD. It's like got everything on it. It's like cardio sessions, strength workout sessions, and I'm on a free trial at the moment, 2 weeks. And it's the monthly. You can pay monthly and yearly, whatever after. But it's quite good because obviously the gyms are closed. But like, it's got this flexibility section in it, and it makes it more fun because like, obviously it's not just they're doing heel flicks and touching your toes. It actually has an element of like strength and core stability in it as well. So you engage your core. It's a bit like Pilates. You engage your core and your glutes while you're stretching. So you're getting a little mini workout going at the same time. So it's better than just standing there and stretching. Yeah, but better than just there standing trying to touch your toes.
Do you want to put a little plug in for that? How much is it a month?
25 pounds a month, but you get personal trainers. You get, you got stats on there, see how you're getting better. It's cheaper than the gym. You don't get all the equipment, but you got your personal trainers on there. It's for when you, as there's no gyms and stuff, and to fair, like everyone's gym memberships are frozen. It's it's half a decent replacement, to be fair.
Yeah, I think there's
first 2 weeks are free. So
I mean, there's things like that where it almost replaces the gym and you just do it at home. And I think that might be a little niche for people to get into, and it might be a way forward where you don't have to travel to a gym. You can do it all at home.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need. Looking back at it, like I don't exactly need a gym. I think people need gyms are literally like people who are really into the weights and stuff.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Unfortunately, you cannot replicate a tennis court at home, can you?
You can if you have a very, very, very big garden.
Very, very true. Unfortunately, I don't think either of us fall into that category.
No, unfortunately not. But well, no, you can't. It's a pain. Can't replicate a golf course either, which is also another pain for me.
I'm surprised you haven't got one of those like little mini sort of golf sets you could put around your garden.
Yeah, no, I was looking at a net and like 400 quid for a net. I was like, what?
Jesus Christ. But I mean, as you said, you're doing the running, so you sort of like completely using that as a substitute.
Yeah, that. Yeah, a lot of running. And then start them app workouts as well. But yeah, that's what's keeping me going in terms of fitness.
It's something that just, as you say, gives you that almost kick of doing something active and keeping you going, because otherwise you get all pent up and angry, really.
Yeah, it gets the adrenaline pumping. You start producing the correct hormones, like your dopamine, your serotonin levels go up, and that's all good. That's what you want. When you don't do anything, you get low, you get a bit moody, grumpy, you get in a bit of a rut. And fitness helps. Running helps that. Fitness helps that. It's all of them together.
It's not a good combination.
Makes you healthy as well.
Very true.
I mean, makes you healthy.
I mean, we looked at a few benefits of sport in general, because we know there's the physical side of burning calories and keeping it a healthy weight. But from a mental point of view, as you said, with all the release of the chemicals in your brain and what have you, from a mental point of view, I think it's a lot bigger if you don't do exercise. Like, I know when I did my injury, and you just felt moody and you couldn't really do anything. It's the same here with people who like going to play football or anything like that. You really want to do it, but you can't.
You play in a 7-a-side league, don't you?
Yeah.
on the Monday night. I played one on a Thursday night, which is nearly a year since that's been played. They didn't go back. Like your team went back to play. Our league was completely cancelled. So I haven't had that
I didn't know
nearly a
that.
year now. It's going because yeah. So that match I played for you was literally the first time I played in ages. Because I think it's just because we both obviously use schools, and the school you used were happy to let people play, but the one we used, they didn't let us play.
All right. That's interesting. I mean, that's another point of view which I looked at. They think the website I was looking at, they titled it New Connections, where you're speaking to people socially, you're having a bit of laugh with people, and that's good for you anyway, because you sort of just get rid of everything that was worrying you during the day, and you just have a bit of a laugh with your mates. And if you think about it, if you look at, say, the age that we teach, kids-wise, they're not going to be making those connections with people, and it's, as we've touched on, it's going to damage their mental health with it, because they won't be able to empathize with people and connect with people.
Yeah, socially, yeah, it's massive, especially for the people we interact with in when we coach on the grassroots level. A lot of grassroots level is like social impact, social tennis. At a club level, it's majority social tennis. It's the old lot getting together, the adults, and then even at a junior level, it's still your group lessons mixing with people outside of your school, because it's a lot of time you're always next to your classmates. I know a lot of classmates play tennis together, but it's a good way to interact with new people coming in from different schools and different areas, and they're not getting that now. They've got that bubble they're in at school of how they're like 15 kids, 20 kids, and that's not great because you don't get to meet new people.
No, and you don't develop those social skills of meeting new people.
Exactly, yeah. You get comfortable in this game. That's a bit dangerous to get comfortable.
I completely agree on that. I don't particularly, and we don't usually orientate this around political stuff on this podcast. We always like to keep it quite sort of tennis orientated. But do you think the government could have handled it better involving sport in lockdowns and what have you? Do you think it was right for them to completely ban it, or do you think they could have found ways around it?
There's different ways of looking at it. One way, where we're looking at it from people who play sport, is especially with tennis and golf. Football is different, but like for tennis and golf, it's quite they're quite socially distanced anyway. You stay far away from each other on a tennis court. In golf, you're literally even further away. So there's no reason why you can't, because you can stay quite far away from people. The coaching bit is slightly harder. You can't play group tennis. That's fine. I get that. But you could do individual lessons because, again, you can social distance.
Well, because
the other side of it.
Well, the rules from the government as now is you can meet one person out of your household and do some form of exercise. So you could class that as playing a singles match with somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the way that they can get it is that it could easily be abused, because I think the problem that's going to happen is if you release tennis and say, hey, you play tennis, singles, people are going to congregate around the club. So loads of people are going to go. And I think that's what they're worried about is, it's not just that mean you're going to turn up and that's it with only people there. There's going to be like 10 courts full of people playing tennis, which is the problem. It's hard to, control it.
Well, you remember what it was like at the first lockdown, don't you? When they said, "Oh yeah, tennis is allowed," it was packed.
Yeah, of course. Jam packed. I mean, that's what they're worried about. It's hard to control that. We were meant to leave the middle court out, but it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard for the government. They've got a tough job in their hands, and I guess the last thing they're worried about is tennis.
Yeah. Well, the thing you could also argue, if people did more sport, we know that COVID has effect on your breathing. Sport has shown if you play sport outside, you're taking more oxygen into your lungs and you're improving your lung function. So really, you should be stronger to fight the virus than if you weren't.
100%. Yeah, I agree. That's why, if you can't do it right now, you can't do this sports one to play. You got to find something new. You got to do the running. You got to do the workouts at home to keep your fitness levels up, because your fitness levels go down quite quickly. you don't keep on top of them, it's easy to lose that fitness.
No, especially with tennis, because you're using different skills of your body. It's your speed, your agility, your hand-eye coordination. One of them is bound to go after a certain period of time if you don't practice them.
So yeah, especially when you're younger, I think, or less experienced, we'd be all right. You say when we play, we kind of pick it back up after, and not pick it back up, we don't lose it, but that rustiness starts to come off after about an hour of hitting. You start to get that feel back. But for complete beginners and stuff, it's going back to square one, really, isn't it?
We've got a bit more
a lot of the
WD-40
time,
about it.
especially with kids. I think yeah, exactly. We can get back into the rhythm of things. A new person, those with no natural ability, it's just like, oh god, here we go again, and it's so demoralizing, but it is what it is.
It is frustrating because I'm sure you have it. You have clients that you have for quite a long period of time, and you put quite a lot of effort and time into the person that you're teaching, and then to be forced to stop and you can't see them for 2-3 months, it all goes out the window, and you almost have to start from square one again.
Yeah, because it isn't ingrained. The swing isn't ingrained in beginners. For me and you, our swing's ingrained. We could go for about a year without playing, but that swing, we've done it so often now that, you know, give it a few hours back in court, it's going to come back in because it's ingrained into our system of years and years of playing. You know, we can work out hours a day. When you don't have that, it just goes because it's not natural. But to me and you, it's second nature. We don't think about hitting a ball. We just hit it.
Yeah, very true. Out of curiosity, what's the thing that usually goes with you first when you haven't played for a period of time?
So I think the one that goes for me the most is the serve. I'm small, not small, but I'm smaller than most people in tennis. So it's always something I had to work hard on, you know, and generate the power, generating spin. So yeah, was coaching like just after the second lockdown. And do you remember the video the LTA released? Then that man doing a serve goes over. Anyway, happened to me. So in a lesson, doing doubles, so embarrassing. So, you know, I get my first serve out, hit the first serve. I hit it well, you know, clean, but it goes out. It's a bit too much power, unfortunately. So right, second serve. I'm thinking, right, I'm going to hit the slice serve. It's the easier the second serves. Haven't done a kick serve in a while. Better leave that one, you know, in the locker for now until I get practicing on it again. So yeah, go to the slice serve, and all I can think has happened is I've just forgot to rotate my wrist. So I've gone up. I honestly, I've hit it so well. Too fast, I've hit it perfectly out of the frame of the racket, and it just flies into these like there's a flat car park, and there with the bushes is the flat car park behind the court. I've done it in a lesson. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like so embarrassing to do. It's one thing doing it like in a match with your mates, but in a lesson where you're meant to be the coach, it's like, oh god. So yeah, the serve is definitely been the one, especially like a junior and all that, to get it going.
Well, luckily for me, any mistakes I've made, I don't think it's been in front of a group, so you've drawn the short straw on that. But with
yeah, 100%.
But with me, serving's not too bad. It goes in. It might not be very powerful, but it will go in.
Yeah.
With me, it's footwork, and it's not really it's not patterns. It's the speed of it.
Okay.
Which is the problem with it. It's just getting that speed back in and almost that rhythm, the rhythm of using the different patterns, combining them together.
Yeah, footwork's always been fine with me. It's always picked up pretty naturally. I think it's because I'm quite light on my feet, quite quick, quite agile on court. So footwork's a very, very strong point in my game, I'd say. Being able to get to balls and get there quickly. You know, that's probably one of the big things in my game.
I don't think I've ever forgot how to slide on a court.
No, love to slide. I learned how to play on clay. That's the first court I played on clay. I learned in Spain. So I don't know how to slide from a very, very young age. Well, in terms, I was 12 when I started. I mean, I learned from a very early stage in tennis.
Hmm.
I've had slide like within the first like week of playing tennis, and I had to slide.
You're just sliding around on court. It's what you do there.
Yeah, no, I got to a stage where I could slide in hardcourt.
You see, I still can't do that.
It's hard. It's not easy. You don't get a massive slide like you do on Astro or
No, I
Clay.
can
But
imagine it's like a little squeak.
yeah, but it's actually quite good. It gives you a little bit of that extra reach at times, and it is good. It can be dangerous if you can't do it. It can be dangerous
Oh,
because you
you
can go
go off over
flying.
tip. You go off over
Yeah,
tip.
I remember I tried to teach my mate how to slide because he couldn't. This is at uni. He just couldn't slide. We had clay courts in the summer at uni. So I thought, right, if he wants to learn, you can learn on a clay court because that's the easiest court to slide on. And I've never taught someone how to slide. I've just always, done it. So I retaught myself how to do it if I was to teach someone. I was like, right, just plant your front foot, let that slide, and kind of turn your back foot over as for grip. And cause it's really weird how to explain it, but that's kind of how I was doing it. I showed him a few times, and then he did this run up, he plants his front foot, and he just goes head over heels. Honestly, hilarious. Ends up on his back on the clay court. He's, always top grey. It was grey clay, so he always tops for the grey clay. It was hilarious. Oh God.
I did a lesson on it. It was, I think it was after the first lockdown,
Okay.
because I had to do everything outside.
Yeah.
All the people that I taught in the indoor centre, I took outdoor, and because half of them had never played on a clay court, so I took one of them onto a clay court, and we just did a whole lesson of learning how to slide round on a clay court. It was really good fun.
No, yeah, fair enough. Going from carpet onto clay is quite a difference.
Oh, I love it.
Because carpet for me was my arch nemesis. I just rolled my ankle in it so many times because you can't. There's no sliding on a carpet. It's just so dangerous.
Well, it's because there's so much friction. You need proper carpet shoes, but you can never find carpet shoes anywhere.
You have to wear all tennis shoes, don't you? It's awful. I think that the one that really surprised me lesson is when I had to teach one of my older clients how to run.
Not like just full on run.
He had no ability. I was like, I'd drop it, like we're rallying, and the ball was like, it wasn't short. It landed in the service box, and it had a load of topspin on it, so it was rising up. But it was a bit short of the baseline, and she kind of moved towards it. But I was like, she wasn't moving properly. You could see her trying to work out how to move towards it. I was like, what are you doing? I can't run. I was like, everyone can shortly run. So I had to teach them the motions of how to run. It was really bizarre.
Well, unfortunately, I think that's where we're going to have to go to after this lockdown. No one will remember how to run, jog, anything like that. We'll have to start from scratch again. But anyway, repeat business.
Yeah, true. Do a 6-week session on running. I'd love it.
You'll get your money's worth.
Yeah.
So to stop that and get people keeping active, how would any top tips that you'd give people to stay active during these lockdowns if they can't get onto a tennis court?
Just think you got for people who like furloughed and don't work, just take an hour out of your day to go do something, even if it's just like a bit of Pilates, yoga, or just go for a walk. You don't have to be anything too strenuous, but you need to just get out and about. If you've never run before, try it. Just go for like a mile run. If you haven't run before, that'll take you like 10, 12 minutes. And at least that's getting your heart beating. And then you never know, you might fall in love with it. Get the runner's bug. That's still determined for you to get.
You never know. It might happen. Which could lead on to our final subject, where it's anything but tennis. And it is, because it's a new year, New Year's resolutions. No, I'm not
New
particularly a
Year's
person.
resolution.
I'm not particularly a person
No,
who sets New Year's resolutions, and I don't think you are either.
I'm not. It's a tough one, New Year's resolutions, because I think the problem with New Year's resolutions in terms of fitness is, I think maybe not. I honestly could say like 90% of the population go, especially for men. Or fair and women. I want the beach body by June, and the people
Yeah.
set themselves in goals. It's just so unrealistic, so they fail because you've got like a 40-year-old man who's overweight going, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the abs, the pecs, the arms, the legs, and you're like, are you though? Realistically, because to get there, you need to go to the gym every day for the next 6 months and spend hours there. And then you're like, so to do that, you have to stop working. If you have kids, don't see them. It's like, it's unrealistic. So I just think, with New Year's resolutions, fine, but you just got to make them achievable.
Well, I think the problem with it is, and I was watching a video today of the legendary podcaster, Mr. James Haskell. And he talked about New Year's resolutions, of how people sort of just give up on them after the first week of January. And
Yeah.
it's because they give this generalization of a target, like as you said, get a six-pack and stuff, but that's a very small bit to what you actually have to do.
Yeah.
So it could be, I want to drop 3% body fat. Then you have to say, oh, how am I going to do this? You might say, right, I'm going to cut out such and such from my diet. I'm going to eat more of this. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to go for a walk. It's little things like that. So when you say, like, oh, I want to get in shape, it's a very vague thing, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Yes. You got to make it smart goals. You got to make it, specific, measurable, achievable. Oh, what's the R?
I was about to say.
Retainable, is it?
Yeah, I think it's retainable.
And then time.
Yeah.
Yeah, time. So
You've
you
got your
got
level 3 knowledge.
it's level 1 knowledge, that isn't it? Smart goals.
Is it level 1?
I don't know. Maybe it's
I swear level 1 was just trying to get them to concentrate on you for more than 5 seconds.
goals and start year 9, year 8 when doing revision and stuff.
Oh yeah. No.
It's been a while around for a while, but yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's always good that people set more than resolutions, set goals for what they want to do during the year. Because then if you have a goal, you can always figure out, oh, how am I going to do this? So
Yeah.
What do you want to accomplish in 2021?
Me. I think quite like to, because I run quite a lot, I'd like to get a new PB for my 5K run, even 10K run. I'd like to break the 18-minute barrier in the 5K, which is where I'm at the moment. The 10K, I'd like to get it down to 35 by the end of the year.
Ooh.
Which is pretty quick.
That is very, very quick. It's definitely quicker than what I can do it in.
And I'd have to, obviously around us it's hilly, so I'd have to do it on a track. I'd have to try and give myself the biggest advantage possible and do it on the flat.
Yes, and then see if you can get the wind to just constantly blow you along.
It'll be behind me. The wind swirling around the track. If it was going the wrong way, I had to run around the track backwards just to make sure it's my back.
Anything that will help. Anything that helps.
Exactly. Maybe a track that's constantly downhill.
You'll have to have a look. Is there anything like professionally you want to accomplish? It might not be tennis related.
Professionally, I don't know. I think tennis. I think it's always tennis. For now, just keep it tennis related. I'd like to. I've got one woman who, I coach, who she wasn't a complete beginner when she joined me, but she was pretty, basic. But this 6 months I've had her, she's grown quite a lot. Where I think now, she's maybe on the 4 to 5 months of, becoming, a fifth team, entry level team player.
Which I don't think some people really think about when they start having lessons. They just sort of, I want to pick up tennis, which links back to when we talked about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. I think she's definitely, to be fair, she's like the person you want when you coach, because she doesn't just turn up for a lesson, go home, and then turn up for your next lesson, which is always painful. She does your lesson, she'll then play like 3-4 times a week, practicing what you taught, then come back for the next lesson to improve further, which is obviously what you want. A lot of times you just get the student who comes for the hour lesson, doesn't do any of it for a week, and comes back and is like, back to square one again.
No, I have a few. I have 2 groups that I teach. The 2 sort of adult express groups.
Yeah.
And they're all similar like that. Like, I'll see them playing outside at lessons, and it's brilliant to watch. And it just sort of
it's great.
They care about it a little bit.
Yeah.
From my point of view, in sort of tennising terms, like you were alluding to with that player, I've probably got about, say, 2 or 3 kids that are good, and I'd like to make them better and probably try and get them into the county team. I think that would be quite a good thing. And then from my point of view, I did a little bit of helping out with the county training. I'd like to do that a lot more. I found that quite interesting to do. And pursue that.
Okay, that's cool.
And then, as you're pining for, I will try and run a little bit more.
Pound the pavements, Tom.
Pound the pavement to get the pounds in the bank.
Oh, you should buy some actual running shoes. That'll make you run.
I just know that. Yeah, but that means that I've succumbed. I feel like a bit of a rebel if I don't have proper running shoes.
You can't run in tennis trainers. It's blister central.
I haven't had one.
I ran in tennis trainers once and never again.
What make were they?
No, Adidas ones, old ones, very old, like back when I was a junior.
Was it your Barrett? Was it the Barricades or was it?
Yeah, it was Barricades. Yeah.
You see, it's a heavy shoe.
Yeah, true.
See, I bet if you ran with your Ubersonics, you'd be fine.
True, might be alright with them. I'm not going to try it though. I got a nice pair of running trainers. Nothing cushiony. Support my feet.
Oh, keep them all nice and cushiony and warm.
Yeah, probably running shoes is every 400 or 500 miles you've got to replace them. It's just doesn't sound. It sounds quite a lot, 500 miles, but it's not.
No, it's like tennis. It's like tennis shoes. I go through tennis shoes like I don't know what.
Yeah,
especially when I was playing on those carpet courts.
Oh god, can imagine.
It was just worn away. You'd see it where I was sliding around. It'd just be a massive. Looks like someone had chopped off a piece of my shoe.
Can imagine. Can imagine.
Right, I think that brings us to a nice little end.
Yes.
To this first podcast of 2021. We found out that you can shank a ball brilliantly when you haven't played tennis for 3 months.
At least it was a good shank, At least it actually went quite far.
Oh, it was a proper connection then.
Yeah, like you got to take the positives. You got to take the positives out of it. Is I did actually hit the ball out of the middle, the frame, just not the strings. So it was out of the middle or something.
What you should have said is, all right, this is how we're going to practice. And you could have talked about pronation a little bit.
Yeah.
Just sort of smoothed your way into it.
Yeah, that's true. I was a bit red-faced and not thinking about it at the time. Oh, crap. But hey-ho.
Hey-ho. 2021, new you, new year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to shank it again now. It's been another few months of tennis. Let's underarm serve it.
All right, stop me from causing you any more embarrassment. We'll end it there.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. And
yeah, no worries.
We'll have many more now that we're in lockdown and we're doing nothing.
Yeah, yay, fun times. Nothing to do.
Nothing to do. And hopefully if the IT stays all right, we'll hopefully have some guests. If not, then we'll persevere and try and get some more podcasts out. But the IT is fighting against us because this is the second time we've had
Yes.
to do this.
Yes. Not wanting to do it for a third time.
Very true. Well, thank you again for listening, and hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.